I have a 2008 Hummer H3, and my odometer stopped working. Now, the sunroof had been leaking, and when it leaked, the water was coming in near the firewall and just in front of the passenger door. And I think it was leaking onto the body control module, BCM, for this particular vehicle. So I suspect that there's going to be water damage. And in fact, if you look at, see if I can focus this in. If you look at the one end where the clips are on the body control module, you can see there's evidence of water tracks on here. So I'm going to open this up, and you're going to be here along with me, and I'm going to see what kind of damage, if any, there is on the inside, corrosion, and whatever there is, try and fix it. See if I can get it open. Oh, got some clips on the other side here too. And another clip here. And that just hinges open. And here we are inside. So here we have the back side, I think it is, of the circuit board. Not seeing any clear corrosion here. Well, I'm surprised. I thought I'd see more corrosion here. Well, let's see if we can get that board out and flip it over. And what have we here? Start in the top left. Again, no obvious corrosion, and none of the contacts from where the connectors go in. Hello. What have we here? I'm going to angle this up so you can get a look at it from the side, kind of. Let's zoom down on that. Bring that into focus. Yes, indeedy, that looks cooked. I suspect that's a fuse. I am not positive, but let's see what kind of a resistance reading I get on that. Alright, let's see what I get for a reading here. Well, there is no circuit. Yeah, I'm getting nothing here. Even if this was an inductor, I would get something. Let's see if I've got a short to ground. Where's ground on this board? Let's see. Good chance some of these caps are going to ground. Just filter caps. I suspect this end. Slide this up a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. I suspect this end of this cap here is ground. Neither end of this component is to ground. So it doesn't appear to be a short. Anytime a fuse is burnt, you have to ask yourself why. I think we have an inductor here. Yeah, I got about 1,000 ohms resistance on that. At both ends of that appear to go into the chip. I may have to look up this chip to get a better idea of what that component is. TDA 5211B3. Did a little bit more work on that circuit board. And if we look at some of the specs for the chip that's sitting next to that component, we find that there is an actual diagram. Here it is, finally. TDA 5211 is the chip. And that's not a crystal oscillator, and it's not a crystal resonator. It's an IF. I guess it's an interference filter, crystal interference filter. Now, what is that? 280 kilohertz IF bandwidth. That's the one bit of information. And I found another crucial piece. Here we go. For this particular chip, which is the LT 10.7M and the LT CV10.7M series, we have one here that's 280 kilohertz and that's at the 3 decibel bandwidth, and 590 at the 20 decibel bandwidth, and insertion loss of 3.0, and spurious attenuation at 9 to 12 megahertz, decibel per minute of 35. Well, most of that's Greek to me, but those particular models, the A5 LTCV is this longer one as opposed to the LT. Yes, so the dimensions are correct here with the LTCV as opposed to the LTCS, which is these ones here, these little square guys, because we also have a 280 plus or minus 50 with the 590 blah 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 in that configuration. So anyways, I tried to find these LTCV10 7MA5. Moser does not have them in stock. DigiKey will order them, but they're on back order with months expected. So what does that leave? Not much. I just searched the web to try and find them, and found these guys out of the UK, Mainline Electronics. They have them. Not cheap, $4 each. I picked up 2 of those, just one for backup, and it was about $18 Canadian shipping, so a $25 order. And that coming out of the UK, it's probably going to be at least a couple of weeks, but at least they have them. And if we look back at that component, it does match it, and that was the component to go with the TDA 5211 chip. So wish me luck. Once that comes in, I'm going to heat gun that out, hot air, and drop the other one in place. And I guess these are somewhat sensitive to hot air, as most crystals are. So you preheat the board, get it near molten with use some leaded solder, and then you drop it onto the heated board and continue heating the chip, and under about 300 degrees until that solder melts. And my solder melts is supposed to at 280, so that should work out okay. I should have tracked the way these filters work is the center terminal is a ground, and one end is in the input and the other end is the output. I think what happened is this crystal probably gets hot in normal operation, and then when the water from the drain on the sunroof got onto the body control module, some of that water hit this crystal while it was hot and that cracked it. And then that crack probably was causing arcing, because that would have been mineralized water as well. There's probably get some sort of arcing in here, which was further exacerbating the heating. That's my theory. You know, if it's just this filter that's the problem, then when I get those and install them, it's going to be obvious. Otherwise, that's it for now. When I get those chips in a couple of weeks or longer, I'll continue the video, install it, and let you know what happens. Thank you.